As a kid, I was smitten by Star Trek and Gene Roddenberry's vision of the world of tomorrow, an optimistic future where people got it together. And one night I was sitting on the couch watching Discovery Channel, and there was I guess it was Extreme Machines or Engineering or something like that. And here was this guy, this Jacque Fresco guy. And here he was talking about the world of tomorrow like I hadn't heard anyone talk about it since I was a kid. And it just blew me away. What Jacque was doing is basically what interested me all along, that I liked about the optimistic, future. I called him on the phone, and I mean, to know Jacque is to love him. And Roxanne Meadows, they're family to me. We hit it off instantly. I think I flew down to Venus to see Jacque and Roxanne within a month. I went down there, and for anyone who's interested in an optimistic future, it's like Disneyland. You can often meet people and they don't turn out to be everything they're cracked up to be, or the passion really isn't there. You kind of embossed it from a distance, I mean, watching Jacque on television, you could get a larger-than-life idea of, we all know how you could get a larger-than-life idea of somebody. And then you meet them and, they're not really everything you hoped. Well, they're the real McCoy, let me tell you. I mean, they are the real thing. And for me to have gotten involved with Jacque was to have a chance to make a contribution to the world of tomorrow. For a good number of my years on Star Trek, I worked in the visual effects department. So basically I had this know-how in computer animation. And I love the models that they make. They're really fantastic architectural models, but I said, hey, Jacque and Roxanne, I would love, and I mean, I'm not kidding, I would love to take some of these things and turn them into three-dimensional images. The native visual effects program that we used on Star Trek and on Galactica was Lightwave 3D. You have a movie studio in a box, and you could create anything you could imagine, and you could make it as real as you want, depending on how much time you have. As much as I love working on the science fiction shows, and I've said it to Jacque and Roxanne, if I had an opportunity to work with them on whether it be a real life project or a TV show or something about what it is they're dreaming, I think I would go there. I'd run there to help them and to be a part of it. To help illuminate the world of tomorrow is, for me, and I don't know why, it's the biggest thrill there is. And when you're doing it for something that you believe in, like Jacque and Roxanne's ideas, it's just kick-ass. There's nothing like it. And it's also because I know the effect that it has on people from my years and years working on Star Trek. That you can change people's lives. I know it sounds silly, but it's really true. They could see something like Jacque and his cities, as self-erecting buildings and stuff, and say, I want to be an engineer, or I want to be a scientist, or it's cool to be smart, to be a part of that. I know that is what is going to make or break tomorrow, how kids feel about that. When I worked on Star Trek over 18 years, I met astronauts and scientists and Stephen Hawking, the guys who drove the rovers around Mars, all came to visit Star Trek and said in no uncertain terms that it was Star Trek that made them want to be a scientist, or an explorer, or an astronaut, or even Stephen Hawking, wanted to sit in a captain's chair. For me, I realized that at times I felt like we were doing something frivolous, doing science fiction, but I saw that it had a profound impact on people. It's kind of an epiphany, really, to realize that you can have a profound impact even though you're working on something that some people think is kid stuff. Jacque has ideas and plans of a different way that the world would work. And sometimes when people see that, they're a little taken back because it seems too fanciful. But maybe it isn't. The thing is, if you don't dream about it, you're not going to do it. Jacque provides the dream, and to meet him is to it really gives you a lot of faith. He's kind of a 21st century Moses, lead his people. He's a citizen of the human race. He's not an American, and he's not an Englishman, he's not a Frenchman. He's a human being. We'd go for walks out on their reclaimed area that they turned back into basically, it's almost like primal forest. I could barely keep up with this guy. I'm like, Jacque, slow down. We'd go back to his house, and we'd go through sketches and drawings, and he'd talk about his ideas. Nothing he does, no matter how fanciful it looks, is not frivolous. He has a plan for everything. There's a reason for everything. All you got to do is, wind him up and let him go. He will just pour ideas out at a rate that is unbelievable. He knows how everything works. He will draw you sketches. He will make you models. Every time I did an animation, he sent me reams of sketches. Think about it, a 90-year-old man, and he can't stop thinking about the world of tomorrow. It's all about the world of tomorrow. And it wouldn't matter whether he had 1 minute more to live or he had they had 300 more years to live. The fire for that, it just is as bright as it can possibly be. And that is what's so inspiring. Geez, I love going down there. They've got their model shops and their video dome and everything, and you go in there and all those, futuristic ideas. And it's the energy that comes off of those things that will propel us into tomorrow. We all can help make the future a great place. And the idea of a wonderful tomorrow is not naive. When you talk about faith, if you want to have faith in yourselves and have faith that we can create a more optimistic tomorrow.